If I'm going to consider myself some type of commentator, I'm going to have to give my 2 cents on the Starbucks situation.
Where them kicks at? Where them hands? Where them holes? Where them throws? You know what I'm saying? Cecil.
This is why I train in martial arts. In case for some reason you don't know, in April 2018, two black guys were waiting for a white guy at a Starbucks. Two black guys wanted to use the bathroom, but they hadn't bought anything. So the manager said, "You can't use the bathroom because you didn't buy anything at Starbucks. So you have to use the bathroom or you're going to get out." And the guy said, "Hey, we're waiting for this other white guy." I'm paraphrasing, of course. "Waiting for this white guy. We're two black guys waiting for a white guy. We are conducting real estate business." "No, we're not buying anything." And the manager said, "You got to leave." They said, "No." Cops were called, and it got ugly, and the guys were arrested. And the last time I checked on that story, it looks like there might be some kind of settlement coming out of it. Starbucks is going to do some sensitivity training for their store employees and store owners. And the last time I walked into a Starbucks, a couple of black people behind the counter looked at me. We looked at each other, and we started laughing. And somebody was handing out. They had a raffle at an event I went to. Excuse me. And the black lady who who took my number for the raffle, turns out they were raffling off something from Starbucks, and we just burst out laughing. Because not that we don't take it seriously, but sometimes I know I do, and other black people do too. We laugh to just deal with some of the pain we have to deal with on a regular basis. Now I'm going to be all over the place on this one, and it actually does in a way pertain to self-defense and martial arts. I can understand why an establishment may feel like, hey, if you don't pay, then you shouldn't use anything of ours. But okay, that's fine. But if you're going to do that, you have to enforce that rule for everybody. And apparently, they weren't enforcing that rule for everyone. They just enforced it with black people. That is what I call selective rule enforcement. And that's something I've seen done a lot. And that's something I've experienced. And that's something that my martial arts training actually has helped me deal with. Because if I breathe and stay calm and act like it's going to be a sparring session, but realize it's just a sparring session of words, I can stay calm enough so that the racist that's doing this to me either can't trick me into having them have to call the cops, or if the racist is a cop, he can't trick me or she can't trick me into doing something where I've crossed the line and now I can be arrested because I'm out of line with a police officer. So that's really, one of the main places that your martial arts training comes in handy. It helps you deal with people who want to play mind games. If you go, this is kind of like a sparring match, and instead of throwing techniques, they're throwing words that are designed to hurt, words that are designed to confuse and throw you off balance. You stay firm but calm, and you breathe, you can get through it 9 times out of 10. Now, if it's a bunch of people with torches and sheets on, and they're rolling up in a pickup truck, and they're swinging the rope, and they're going, "Yeehaw, we're going to get you," yeah, you might want to run from that. I don't think a roundhouse kick is going to save you from a mob of racist sheet-wearing vigilantes. But in more common racial occurrences, yes, your training can help. My training has certainly helped me. That and faith in God. That and faith in God. But there was something that Trevor Noah said in one of his jokes. He said that maybe black people aren't always late. Maybe the ones who arrive early get arrested. Because, see, the charge they were going to levy against those two black guys at Starbucks was loitering. Let me tell you something. As someone who's had the job hunt, and as someone who's just appointments in general, I have to admit, I think like that. I know I'm a black man. I try not to get to someplace too early unless I am dressed in shirt and tie, or I know I'm going to be dressed like everyone else around there. And I know they're used to seeing black people. Otherwise, I do my best to try to hit that magical 15-minute mark early, maybe 30 minutes early at the most, no more than an hour early, which is hard to do because if you live in the DC area, Sometimes it's almost best to give yourself 2 hours to get to some place, any place, or 3 hours, because there's always construction. And lately, every time I try to use the directions from Google or Waze, they get a turn wrong, and I have to get off the exit and go back. I have to go back to using an actual map instead of this map navigating software that keeps malfunctioning. The last time I relied on the software, it was supposed to tell me to go 495, and I read it too. I knew I should go 495. The software said 95. I gave myself some extra time, okay, and it was like I knew it. I was supposed to go 495 instead of 95 at the split, so I had enough time to get back off the road, turn around, and go. But can't arrive too early. I drove to the place. I looked. Parking lot is a little too abandoned to be a solo black guy. So then I have to invent something to do. I'll go put gas in the car. I'll go to the bathroom at a gas station where they aren't scared of black people. I may just drive. Drive up the road, turn around, drive back. Can't get there too early. Can't get there more than an hour early. They're going to think you're up to something. Okay? Now, it's wrong that I have to deal with that, and I shouldn't have to deal with that, and I shouldn't have to think about that. But, I don't live in should, I live in is. And me being big, huge black dude, nobody's going to feel sorry for me if they turn on the news and I'm being wailed upside the head or tased or shot or something, especially since he know karate. He should have used his karate to beat up those 12 cops who were beating him on the ground like his name was Rodney King. Some of you probably don't even know who Rodney King is anymore. I should say Eric Garner. That's a more modern example. But my point is, we have to think about that as black dudes. We really, literally, Trevor Noah made a joke, but sometimes that's why the best comedy, I think, makes fun of very real tragedies. It makes you think. The best comedy does that. Just like my cousin Joe Jack that does comedy. Shout out to him. If you're a brother, you really can't arrive some places too early. You got to arrive at a good window. My rule is no more than an hour early. Now, a lot of people may think, of course you shouldn't arrive someplace no more than an hour early. But like I said, DC traffic can be so bad that if you try to get there 15 minutes early, you're definitely going to miss it. If you try to get there 30 minutes early, you're probably going to get there right on time, or you're probably going to be late. If you try to get there an hour early, you might be 30 minutes early. Just because there's always some random construction popping up, there's an accident, there's some fool trying to run you off the road, you just may miss the turn. Something. And this is something that I know for a fact a lot of black women don't have to deal with. I know they don't have to deal with this. Because my wife, she used to make fun of the way I drive. Till she sat in the car with me for longer periods of time. She was like, oh my, I can't believe the cop pulled you over for that. I can't believe that are they following us because you're driving the new car? Because when I met her, she had a new car, I had an old car. She let me drive. Every time she let me drive her new car, I got pulled over. Every single time. She's like, you're a man, you should drive. Fine, watch what happens when I do. I drive. It's no exaggeration. So, martial arts training can help us stay calm until the society gets fixed. And if nothing else, and I'm joking, but I'm not, maybe it'll help us take the beating that might come. Although I don't know any technique that's going to make you bulletproof.